What's up, guys? LQ here with the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. This is my right out of the theater reaction for Imaginary. And I don't know exactly how I feel about this one. So this is about a stepmom moves her family, husband, two girls, into her childhood home. We know that there was some trauma in the stepmom's past, and she moves them into their home, and they the youngest daughter starts having an imaginary friend, and that imaginary friend turns out is an evil being, an evil spirit that wants to terrorize the family. This is from Blumhouse. Blumhouse can get very experimental in their horror, and I tend to like that. But this... Okay, so the first two-thirds of the movie I thought were really good. Very atmospheric. The scares... there was some jump scares, but the scares were more in what you were afraid was going to happen, or kind of what you thought might happen. This definitely had a poltergeist vibe to it a little bit. It was atmospheric, there was tension, and the scares kind of came from how you were afraid what actions you were afraid this imaginary friend was going to talk the little girl into doing. The last third of this movie, the final act, it got really weird, and they ended up in imaginary friend land, and it was an odd... I don't know if it was an odd choice, but the setting was odd. The rules of this land was odd. Chauncey the bear, the imaginary friend, his depiction in this land was odd. Yeah, I think that's how I feel about this. The first two acts I liked. I thought they were effective. And the last act I just thought it missed the mark. It missed the mark for me. There was a fake ending that really kind of made me mad. But I don't know that I don't know. I didn't hate the movie by any means. It was most of the movie was very effective. It was just one of those films that couldn't quite stick the landing. And the last impression you have of a movie is the ending of the movie. So a movie could do all sorts of things right, but if they can't stick the landing, then you can have a negative reaction to that film. And that's kind of what I think is happening here, because two-thirds of the film, I was into it. I was engaged. There was some tension. There was even some jump scares that were kind of effective. But yeah, that last third, when they went into Imagination Land, or whatever it was called, it lost me. It lost me. I thought it got pretty dumb at that point. There was a scene where a secondary character, who really didn't even she got introduced earlier in the film, but the secondary character didn't really come into the film until right at the beginning of the third act. And there was a scene with this character. First of all, her character was completely predictable in her motivations. But there's a scene where this character gets killed in Imagination Land. And the way it happened was like the most cartoonish, silly thing that I've seen in a horror film in a long time. This stuffed hand comes out of the door, and I guess it grabs her and pulls her in. Yeah, it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. So yeah, like I said, two-thirds of this film I thought were effective. The last act was just, it completely missed the mark. That's just my take, though. Maybe you love the third act. Maybe you love the surreal kind of odd choices that they made to kind of make it feel like this different place altogether. It kind of reminded me, honestly, of Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. The final act in that film, Freddy's lair in that movie, really reminded me of this, of this, the atmosphere, the aesthetic of this place. It all reminded me of the end of Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, which kind of, I don't know, that movie wasn't good either, so it is what it is. But yeah, Imaginary, in a thumbs up, thumbs down world, I'd probably be kind of neutral on this one. I'm not screaming, yeah, you need to go see this movie. This is the next great horror film. No, it's not that. It didn't suck either. I just wish that they would have wrapped things up in a more satisfying way, in a way that kept those thrills going, the tension going from the first half. Because in the first 2/3 of the movie, like I said, great tension being built, and then in the final act, it was just silly. It was hard to be invested into something and feeling fear and feeling tension and feeling thrills when you're kind of just laughing at the whole thing. So that's my take on Imaginary. Have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. While you're down there commenting, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, we'll see you guys later.